Hello and welcome to English Digest. I'm Seb.
And I'm Elsie.
And today on English Digest, we're going to be talking about a bit of a tough topic, something many of us have to deal with in our lives.
Right, we're going to be talking about breakups.
Oh, a breakup is the end of a relationship. It's the point when a romantic couple, or 情侣, decide that they don't want to be together anymore. So what are some of the reasons that a couple might break up?
Because they don't think the same, they disagree with each other.
Right. Different points of view.
Or they live in different countries.
Or living in different countries. That's another good one. Yes, sometimes long-distance relationships can break up couples. And also, I think going separate ways, that's an expression we use for when people start dating and they have similar interests, but later on, they start to, develop and change in different ways. So maybe somebody starts a big, important corporate job and they're really focused on their career, and the other person wants to travel. You can imagine those two people might start to have very different routines and interests. So their relationship might not survive.
So we can say they go separate ways,
They go
right?
separate ways, exactly. They go separate ways in life. And of course, another one would be cheating, when someone cheats on you. So when somebody, dates someone else without telling you, or they sleep with someone else, that would be another reason you might break up with them. Normally, when we use the term breakup, we mean that the people in the relationship have both decided that they don't want to be together anymore. Breakups are normally mutual. That means both people have decided, though each person might have a different reason for wanting to go their own way.
And when one person ends the relationship, sometimes in a harsh way, we can say somebody dumped somebody else. 或者是用被动 passive voice, be dumped by somebody.
Exactly. Dump normally means to throw something down on the ground. So if you're throwing someone down, it means you're just kind of saying, I don't want to be with you anymore. Goodbye. So it can be quite harsh. In addition to different types of breakups, there are also different ways that we can break up with someone. You can have a face-to-face conversation, you can speak over the phone, you can video call them, text them, or even write a letter. Okay, so our assignment is write a breakup letter of at least 120 words to an imaginary partner. You can call them either Dylan or Rose, so those two names. And you should not sign the letter with your real English or Chinese name. Okay, so choose an alternative English name instead. Choose a different English name. So you could be Haley, you could be Luke, or any other name that comes to your mind.
那今天呢，我们的提示看到的是或许我们都曾写过或读过一封五味杂陈的分手信，希望未来彼此都还能有机会改变过去的遗憾，也盼这次的失去呢，能够使彼此变成更好的人。所以今天的作文要请我们写一封120个字以上的分手信给假想中的另一半。英文名字注意必须要假设为 Dylan 或是 Rose， 请注意必须 Haley 或 Luke， 在信末署名不得使用自己的真实中文或英文名字。写信的时候特别在考试写信的时候特别注意我们是不能够使用自己真实名字的。
Okay, interesting. We've talked about writing letters for a number of different purposes before, but never for breakups. This is a good exercise in practicing talking about your feelings in a calm and respectful way, which of course is key when you're breaking up with someone. So let's move on to developing an approach for today's assignment. Okay. So we've got this basic layout, don't we, in the magazines of how we're going to write a letter. Should we talk a bit about that?
没错，我们这边看到呢一个图片，它上面呢看到一些日期啦、称谓、内容、结尾语还有书名。所以我们首先要注意的是呢，简函写作应该注意的是格式的重点，包括了称谓、日期、结尾语还有书名。These 4 different parts are very important.
Right. We need to think about the correct format, the correct way for writing letters. This isn't just for writing breakup letters, by the way. Almost all formal and informal letters follow the same basic structure, which you can see here in your magazines. Every letter, as Elsie pointed out, should include the date, the name of the addressee, that's the person you're writing to, the body, a sign-off, which Elsie will tell you about now, and after that, your name.
没错，那再来呢，我们要注意的是简函写作，今天我们要写的，这个月我们要写的是一个分手信。那信件的格式呢，不用太正式，常见的写法呢有几种哦。第一个，称谓可以用 Dear 加上名字。再来呢，日期写在称谓上方空一行的右上角或是至左，对齐信件。第三个，一般信函的结尾语呢，我们可以用Best or best wishes, sincerely yours, 或者是 yours sincerely, 或者是 truly yours, yours truly, your friend, 这些都可以。那写在信件结尾下方空一行的右下角，或是至左对齐信件。那本篇呢是分手信，所以结尾语可以用道别的时候会使用的正式或非正式的用法，像是 goodbye, farewell 等等的。那再来呢，署名的时候可以姓氏跟名字都写，也可以只写名字。至于结尾语的下方对齐结尾语。
Also, some things to consider with the body of your letter. Normally, with formal letters and emails, it's recommendable to be brief and to the point. To start with, by saying exactly what you want. Breakup letters are a little bit different. Because we're talking about a sensitive subject and we don't want to hurt someone's feelings unnecessarily, you might want to begin instead by outlining the problems with your relationship right now. What is making you or your partner unhappy? Alternatively, you could talk a little bit more about the positives of your partner's personality or their company, if you want them to feel that there is nothing wrong with them personally. Whatever approach you take, you don't want to make it too brief. So we don't want a letter that says, Dear Amy, I don't want to be with you anymore, John. But if you also don't want to draw it out. You don't want to make your letter too long, because after all, you need to make it clear what you're saying at the same time.
再来呢，有些人选择分手是因为受不了对方的行为，有些人可能是被迫分开的。那不论是哪一种分手，信件内容要陈述具体的事由，用字遣词呢尽量婉转。那本篇基础范文，我们大家会看到，它就是因为另外一半呢太重朋友了，比较不愉快的分手哈。那可以从信中看出气愤跟不满，却没有太过偏激的言论哦。所以你可以表达你的不满，但是言论切勿太过偏激。那进阶范文呢，则是因为两个人对于未来的目标不同而分开。信中除了书写自己的规划之外呢，同时也向对方表示祝福，字里行间充满着不舍跟哀伤。
Of course.
So there are different kinds of breakups.
Right, exactly. So just as we said before, there are lots of different reasons why you might break up with someone, and so there are also lots of different ways of writing your letter. So before you start, first give yourself a reason to break up with your imaginary partner. Perhaps you argue a lot. Perhaps they cheated on you. Perhaps you just don't want a relationship right now. Now ask yourself, how would this motive make you feel? If you just don't want to be in a relationship right now, for example, you might feel unhappy, but also sympathetic toward your partner. If your partner cheated on you, you could feel sad, betrayed, angry, or even happy. There's lots of different reasons why you might be done with the relationship, right? So think of a reason and how you feel about that reason, okay? And that will help you develop a way of writing this letter.
没错，再来呢，第四个我们要注意的是简函写作通常是以第一人称来叙述哦。那这边大概介绍一下 Dear John Letter 是怎么来的，为什么要用 John 呢？据说是在二战的时候发明的用法哦。当时呢，许多美军常年驻守在海外，维持远距离的感情是非常困难的。所以呢，当远在家乡的女方爱上别人之后，会写一封分手信给另外一半。而 John 是一个很大众的名字，所以就变成分手信的代称了。
Yes, exactly. So a Dear John letter is a letter written to a man by his wife or romantic partner to inform him that their relationship is over, usually because they've found another lover. The man is often a member of the military stationed overseas. So these were more kind of, 50, 100 years ago that people wrote Dear John letters. And actually, I have a bit of a personal experience with this. Not that I've been writing Dear John letters to people, but one of my grandparents did this exact thing during World War II.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
My grandmother was, I don't remember if she was engaged or she was just had a boyfriend when World War II started. And when he left, she said, I promise to wait for you. And when he got back, she had married my grandfather.
Oh, but did she write the Dear John letter to that person?
I don't know if she did. I've not asked her personally if she wrote the letter. But I do know that they stayed friends afterwards. In fact, they stayed friends for the next 50 or 60 years.
Wow.
Her and her ex-boyfriend. So, things worked out. I'm not sure how they worked out, but he was okay with it. I mean, World War II was 6 years as well. So it's a long time.
It was a long time.
Exactly. So anyway, if it wasn't for Dear John letters, I guess I wouldn't exist. So let's move on to our brainstorming section of this assignment.
这边呢，我们要说的是我们可以透过 WH 来分析这篇写作的内容，可以先列出以下的重点，然后再接着加入其他的细节，你就可以清楚的掌握文章的方向，不容易偏题哦。然后再把这些延伸变成你的 outline。所以有哪几个 WH 问句可以问呢？像是 Who is the recipient of this letter？ 这是一个例子。还有呢 What else, Seb?What
else? Well, we also have the why. Okay. So why are we writing to them? So that's kind of obvious at this point. We're writing to them to break up with them. What happened in the relationship? Okay. So what are your reasons, we could say? What are your reasons? Because sometimes it's not something that happened, but there's still a reason, right? How do you feel about this relationship as well? So what we talked about before. Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Do you hate your partner's guts and you just want to shout at them? Like, how do you feel? And what's our last one?
How long have you been together?
Right, that's a really good point. Remember at the beginning, when Elsie was talking about her breakup over text, I asked her, how long have you been together?
Right.
Because personally, I do think it's okay to break up with someone or to stop seeing someone over text if you've just had like one date with them. You know, like if it's not a serious relationship, you don't need to go out for dinner and say, listen, our one date was great, but I don't think we should see each other anymore,
Then I wouldn't have talked about that relationship, right, in the intro. So that was 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Not one day.
5 years is very different from one date, right?
I hope he's listening now.
Yeah, you. Okay, so this is obviously just one kind of situation in which someone might break up with their partner. But let's use it as an example for now and move on to discussing how to develop our outline. So no matter what you're writing about, an outline will help you organize your ideas so that they are clear and cohesive. We already have the details of why our imaginary relationship has failed, but how do we organize that into a letter? Let's look at an example. Again, we're going to start with a topic sentence. Remember, a topic sentence is a sentence at the beginning of the passage or paragraph that lays out your main point. I guess you can already guess what that is. So our first topic sentence in this example is, we have to break up. Okay, so that's a very clear topic sentence. We're cutting straight to the point, we're being very direct, and I think we can already tell what the tone of this message is going to be like. It's going to be angry or at least quite frustrated. What reasons does the writer give to support their topic sentence, Elsie?
所以陈述分手之后呢，你接下来需要给理由。那第一个他给的是 It hurts me more than it hurts you. 他先说我会比你更痛，更心痛的意思哈。再来呢 I realize I was never your priority. 我了解到我根本不是你的第一优先。这是他先写出来的2句话。
Okay, so this sounds like a bit of a bitter message. It sounds like the person is quite angry, doesn't it?
Right, and does that also make the other person feel less bad if you say something like this?
No, I think it probably makes them feel worse.
Worse. Oh, because you're putting the blame on them.
In fact,
on the person.
Exactly. In fact, if we're going to go back to the outline or brainstorming, for a second, we could add another how to this chart. We could say, how do you want the reader to feel? Do you want them to feel good about themselves? Do you want them to feel bad about their behavior? What kind of message do you want to give them? So here, it's clear that the person wants the reader to feel bad. He's angry, and he wants them to feel bad.
对，所以你要让你这个另外一半读到信的时候是什么样的感觉？是觉得他的错，还是觉得 OK？ 那你在写的时候呢，就要去好好的铺陈。
Exactly. Okay, so let's look at our second topic sentence now.
Okay.
And the second one backs up the first and gives reason for why the writer feels the way they do. Okay, so our second topic sentence is, you care more about your friends than me. Okay, I think it's likely you'll just celebrate and you never make time to be with me. Okay, so this is all really sounds very, very angry. Or very hurt. Maybe not angry, maybe very hurt, and that's the way that the person is expressing this. So they're saying that the reasons for the problems in their relationship is that their partner doesn't want to spend any time with them, and they leave this concluding sentence, this 结论句, which is, I pity the next poor guy you date. Wow, okay, this seems like a really harsh breakup letter.
The writer is full of anger.
Yes, it seems like the writer really wants to burn bridges. When you burn bridges with someone, you end your relationship with them in such a way that they're never going to want to see you again. Okay, so if it's your last day at the office, your last day of your job, and you swear at all of your coworkers and you break a computer and, I don't know, throw coffee in your boss's face, you're never going to be able to come back to that office again for another job, right? They're never going to want to see you again. So that's really burning bridges.
没错 burn bridge 代表的就是断了后路。那通常在职场上会用到 don't burn bridges， 因为如果要离职的话呢，也不要自断后路。跟前公司保持好的关系也是很重要的。那这里呢，这个作者写 I pity the next poor guy you date， 我为接下来跟你交往的人觉得可怜，这样就把场面搞僵了哈。So for sure that's a very mean thing to say. And in this letter, we see that the writer keeps blaming the other person. Like, I was never your priority. You never make time to be with me. You.
Exactly. This is your fault, your fault, your fault. Yours sincerely, Mark. Okay. So let's take a break here. You guys can think about how you're going to write your letter. And when you're back, we can read through the first sample and go into some of the language. Basic sample. Dear Rose, we have to break up. The funny thing is, even though I'm the one doing this, I bet it hurts me more than you. I had real feelings for you, but now I realize I was never your priority. Of course, you'll run straight to your friends and tell them. After all, it's obvious you care far more about them than me. Maybe you'll cry until they make you feel better. I think it's more likely you'll just celebrate. That's why I've had enough of our relationship. We've been together 6 months, but it sometimes feels like we're not together at all. You never make time to be with me, but you'll drop anything to be with your friends. Since it's clear you prefer their company, just go and be with them. I pity the next poor guy you date. He doesn't stand a chance against your love for your friends. So long, Luke. Okay, so how do you think Luke feels?
Right, so like I said, it's a letter full of anger.
Right.
愤怒的一封信. And Luke, the writer, complains that his girlfriend, now maybe his ex-girlfriend, doesn't spend time with him, never cares about him and he's had enough of the relationship. 所以他才在这个信件当中写 I've had enough of our relationship 代表我受够我们的关系了。所以当你说 have enough of something 那就是受够某事了。
Yes, he definitely sounds very upset. Now, we don't know. Maybe his girlfriend was really nasty to him in the relationship. Personally, I think even if I was angry with someone at the end of a relationship, I wouldn't try and make them feel sad.
Right,
I don't
maybe
think
the
you need
person
to do
won't
that.
feel anything, right?
Yeah, I don't think you ever need to make someone feel sad. But that's how this person feels. That's just my opinion. But yes, we can definitely call this a bitter breakup. Now, I've said bitter a few times. You obviously know that bitter is a flavor, but we can also use it to describe a mood or an emotion. Now, bitter as an emotion basically means that someone is very frustrated or upset about something that's happened in the past, okay? So imagine that you were in a sports competition and you came second place to your best friend. And then after that, you always feel kind of angry that your best friend beat you in that running race or in that sports game. And so you're always kind of angry at them. We could say that you are bitter because you're not letting go of the past. So this feels like a bit of a bitter letter. He also says, I was never your priority, which we touched on a little bit earlier. So Yo Xian is obviously priority. He's basically saying that she cares more about her friends than him. She's not making any time to be with him. Okay, and that's our next phrase, make time to do something. So that's 抽时间,去做某个事情.
Right.
So,
what about this phrase, drop anything to do something?
Drop anything to do something. Okay, yeah, that's good that you pointed that out. So drop here doesn't mean to drop something on the floor. It means to cancel something or to make time in the day. Okay, so if I say that Elsie drops anything to help her friends, that could mean that Elsie's at work or Elsie's in the library and her friend says, I've got a problem, and Elsie runs out of the office or she runs out of the library and goes straight to help them. Okay, so someone who drops everything makes themselves immediately available to help, basically.
所以就放下手边任何事去帮助另外一个人。
Exactly. All right, let's move on now to the second sample, and let's hope that it's a little bit kinder. Advanced sample. My dearest Dylan, I just received notification that my application to study at UC Berkeley has been accepted. On the one hand, I'm absolutely ecstatic about this news. On the other hand, I'm filled with agony as I've come to the realization that it means we must go our separate ways. We've talked about our aspirations for the future, but I know you want to stay here in Taipei and pursue your dreams of making it big with your band. But the world is such a large place. I want to experience other countries and cultures. As callous as it may sound, I just can't see how our two visions for the future can continue together. I've thought about whether we can sustain a long-distance relationship, but I don't think we can. I want an independent life in the US, and I want you to feel free to focus on your goals too. I'm sure that when you look at it objectively, you'll agree. I believe the best thing to do is to make a clean break, stay in touch, and if fate wants us to be together in the future, we will be. I want you to understand that I still have very deep feelings for you. They've only grown since we first started dating 18 months ago. You're so strong, Dylan, and that's how I know you'll be okay, even though we have to part. My heart will always be with you, Haley. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
Are you serious?
Well, that was a different letter. A very different letter, right?
That was totally different from the first one.
Yes. So Haley is taking a very different approach, isn't she, when she's writing this letter?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Haley here has a completely different reason to break up with her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She's breaking up with him because she's going to study abroad.
Yes. Sometimes it's, as I said at the beginning, sometimes it's not because someone in the relationship is bad or they're doing something wrong. Sometimes you just go your separate ways. And I think what I like about this letter is Haley is very open about her feelings, about what she wants for herself. You know, it's okay that she wants to explore and she wants to experience different cultures. And she's young and she should do that.
True. And here she's not burning the bridge, right?
No, she's not burning bridges. Exactly.
She's not. She's trying to say that she's thought about every possible way to keep this relationship going. However, maybe an independent life is what she wants now.
Exactly. And I think what I like is also she says, you know, we can stay in touch, but she doesn't say, let's try and make it work out, you know? She says, if fate wants us to be together in the future, we will be. Now, fate is... How do we translate fate into Chinese? 命运. Okay, yeah. So basically, you guys probably know, but basically fate is this idea of what should be in the future, okay? So if it's your fate to become a great musician, then that means, you know, you have musical ability in your blood and you believe it's your destiny, your future to be a great musician, okay? So she's saying that if we should be together in the future, if that's what the universe wants to happen, then we will be together in the future. But maybe this isn't the love story that's supposed to happen in our lives. Maybe there's someone else out there that isn't each other. So let's take a look at some of the vocabulary from this passage. So I think one of the great fancy words, there's two great fancy words in this passage. The first one is ecstatic. So it's ECS, but we pronounce that as X. Ecstatic, which means really, really happy, okay? Obviously, she's been accepted to UC Berkeley, which is a really, really prestigious, really great school in the US. It's a really good university. And so that's made her very, very happy. She's ecstatic. We also have this word callous as well. And callous is very different from ecstatic. It means very cruel or heartless. So when she's saying, as callous as it may sound, she's saying, I know this sounds bad, but I don't think we should be together. That's what she means when she says, as callous as it may sound.
还有一个是 make it big. 是飞黄腾达、发迹的意思。所以呢，这个女生还说 I know you want to stay here in Taipei and pursue your dreams of making it big with your band. 所以这个男生显然他是有一个梦想在的。那他也祝他能够在这个梦想上面发迹、飞黄腾达。
Exactly. Okay, well, I think that's all the time we have for going through today's letters. I hope you guys have some good ideas for your writing assignment. And best of luck with them. We will see you in a few weeks when we're going to be talking about a translation exercise, and we're also going to be talking about some topic-based writing. So we will see you then, but until then, goodbye.
Bye.